So we have coming up Dawn. Dawn is here to join us. Let's see here. We will let her get dialed in. Beautiful picture. Hi, Dawn. That was like a beautiful picture that was popping up on your screen.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
It's great to have you here. We are kicking. I don't know if you have caught any of, who has been on here earlier, but I felt so bad because when Michael Faber was on here and it was just like, we're getting booted off. What's happening? So
I was watching it. I'm like, where are they? Where are they? And so, but now it's beautiful because we all learn from each other. It's like note to self, 8 hours. We've got it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who else is like on for like, all these hours, but in case you are, 8 hours is the max. So
8 hours is the max. So,
yes, welcome to the Christmas in July 24-hour Streamathon. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, how you serve. Just let it go.
Well, for those, my name's Dawn Cruz. I am here in sunny Las Vegas. So it's only about 4 o'clock, but it's a nice, lovely summertime in Christmas. So I'm okay. But originally from Southern California, I serve in the accounting and business consulting arena now. However, kind of back to what I love is your pain to passion. At 21 years old, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder and was told I was going to be sick the rest of my life. And fast forward about 10 years later, a mentor of mine said, you have a choice. You have choice. Choice is a powerful thing and suffering is always optional. And I had set in the time that I was just going to keep pushing forward, and finding answers. Never found answers, but found my new base, and it became my new control. So I have the control, not of somebody else telling me this is what's going to happen. And I use that passion now to show entrepreneurs, business owners that may have stumbled in the business world, or they're afraid of fear, or financially, maybe they haven't filed their taxes, maybe they haven't taken their numbers, and they're struggling. And I really want to be the disruptor. And I'm starting to be that disruptor of the industry of not just looking at, transactional, really seeing what the core problems are. So taking my health, and a lot of entrepreneurs I'm finding is they have had health situations or family situations. We call that personal, side. Business and personal aren't separate. They are one and the same. And so really being able to take the last 22 years and take all of those lessons and learnings and really just keep pushing to create the company, the vision, and now being able to serve others, that it's okay if you fall. And be able to be there to say, you know what, we can dust ourselves off. And by taking the first step to say what's happening now is not what I want. And we can be able to recreate the pathway.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, like so many bits and pieces. Like, I honestly feel like I have learned more throughout this experience than what I'm even I'm taking it all in, because just from the very first part, the autoimmune, I have autoimmune. In 2006, I was told I'd be in a wheelchair within 3 years. So it's amazing at how you describe it. Like it didn't have me. Like I had this thing, but it didn't have me. And if you'd have listened to what you were told, how different your today would be.
I definitely, there's been a lot of struggle. I paralleled a leukemia. They thought I had leukemia, and then they thought I had lupus, and I paralleled, and they couldn't answer. And it was a lot of mindset, creating into the hospital. I would be at USC Norris Center 4 to 6 times a year, admitted in the day hospital treatment. It's been 9 years since I've been in the hospital and 8 years since I've had treatment.
Congratulations. That's
and
beautiful.
that was a every 4 to 6 week occurrence of treatment. And so definitely that itty bitty shitty committee in the brain, or people call the ants. I like to call it the itty bitty.
I love it.
They, it was that whole give and take, and you would get pulled in, and then it's like, no, I get to take the control. And a lot of that came from my training, my neurolinguistics programming trainings, and just really being able to make the choice, because I got to have the choice.
Yes. Yes, I love that. So do you talk on the autoimmune part often, or?
It is something that's coming. A lot of people don't know the truth, or I don't want to say the true story, the whole story of the passion. My business has always been behind the scenes. It's been very recently that I am bringing my story to the front force to show that people that may have those downfalls, those things that are going on personally, that can be those shackles that are holding not only their personal and their passion, but their business as well. It becomes a crutch or an excuse or something of that nature, and say, you know what, you get to make the choice. So definitely bringing that more forward. So I'm excited. This is kind of like this, I think this is the second or third interview that I have really put it out there now to
Good for you.
embrace it.
I'm excited because,
Yeah.
and just to share, like, to me, it's like, when I had my fitness studio, I had a fitness studio, and that's when I was diagnosed. So I thought, oh my gosh, well, what have I done to my family? I put us in financial ruin. How am I going to teach if I'm in a wheelchair? Like, your mind goes to all these places, right? And making that decision that's like, no, I'm going to get up every day and do what I do until and if I can't, right? But what I learned by that mindset, and I'm sure that this is how, like, it turns into service, is when people would come in and they would tell me, well, I can't do that. I have arthritis, or I can't do that. And I'm like, so do I, so do I, but yes, you can. So you almost become that ray of hope to someone when the doctors already told them they would never do this, but you're like, no, you will, if, so how do you see that impacting people's lives?
It's really been very impactful in just even a short amount of time. Never realized how many people, I knew I saw it, that it's becoming such a common reality of people don't talk about it. And so, oh, I've had idiopathic neutropenia, or oh, I have lupus, or I have, all of these, autoimmune is such a wide thing, and it can go for any type, diabetes, any type of health dis-ease, if we'll call it. And all it is our body is just in it's not lining up.
Dis-ease, yeah.
It's out of ease. So really being able to find where the tools are and looking at the alternative, and that's the choice. And that's one of the things, when my mentor gave me that quote, that was what drove me. There was days I didn't want to get out of bed. There was days that I would not want to be driving. And I knew, what, take the first step. I would get up, I would get going. And then it's that, like the exercise or gym and all those different things. It just takes that one step. And I want to be that person that it's okay to have those days where I still have down days. I still have, life events that go on. This week we had a, kind of a traumatic thing. And at the same point, I could have shut down, or it was no, keep moving forward. And so that's where I'm really want to give the people the hope. And it's even in a personal setback. If it's a personal matter for hobbies, it doesn't have to be just the business world. It can be that whole process of life.
Yes, because it's such a hard place to be. And I think unless people are in it, you don't truly get it. Like, because you don't physically look wrong, like anything's wrong. And yet, I remember days where I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. And then that day comes and it's like, I can't move today. Like, and it's really hard. But when you said, like, I don't think we talk about it, I know from my experience, and I don't know if you felt it, but anytime I would bring it up, autoimmune, I was always met with, well, that's just your diet, or you can just change this. Or if you just got into this like meditative state, you could like talk your way out. I mean, it's like, it just was always met with this, like it was my fault, you know? And I don't know if that's why people just don't talk about it, or it's just kind of shut down now. But I know that I stopped talking about it because it was like, oh my gosh, like I know if I don't eat certain foods, I feel okay, but that doesn't mean it goes away.
It's that I call it that love-hate relationship, where one of the things that I learned though was I would talk about it in the past tense. A lot of people will talk about it as it's something currently happening. And so then we're creating that process even more. So I think now for a long time, I haven't talked about it, or it brings it up in some of my stories or in when I'm training here locally. At the same point, now taking it to a broader perspective, it's in the past. However, it also gave me the fuel. And I think part of that also was that mindset shift of, I get to make the choice. I get to make the choice. And we can really be able to change the stigma, like you said. Oh, you can, I always said I had this mental break of, I looked fine on the outside, but internally I was a shell for a very long time. And being able to, a lot of people said, well, you're fine. And then all of a sudden they're like, they didn't realize, because on the outside it did look fine.
Yep. And I do agree with you wholeheartedly. Like in my space today, it's like, this was back in 2006. Like I made that choice to, you just get up and you go and you live for today and you're good and you're happy for today. And so remembering where I was in that chaos, because how to drill down is horrible. But today it's like, yeah.
It's a part of me, and it's in the past. And at the same point, I'm at, and like I had said when I had sent you some information, it was my new base normal. It was my new level. It was not somebody else's, or it was not, we have to find where our neutral is, whether it's in health, whether it's in business, where is our baseline, and then being able to shoot for excellence.
Yes, totally. So what do you see going forward? Like, how do you see serving and helping, bringing all of your worlds together?
So we are in the process, Team DYC, we are going to be starting a training retreat system for business owners to be able to work on their business and not in their business. A lot of that is kind of surrounding through my health side as well. Really bringing it out that a business owner, it's not either or, they can be together. And so that's really the process, is just kind of fine tuning that process of being in more speaking opportunities, and really just being able to share that there is hope for individuals that have a passion. I love working with small business or somebody that has a concept, and being able to take them to, whether it's a nonprofit idea or a service or a product that they have passion about, that can be able to help them and guide them, that it's not just profit, P&Ls and all these fun technical terms. I come at things from an operations side. I worked for Disney for 11 years at Disneyland from a senior in high school. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to be able to bring the big box companies to a small world mindset. And a lot of people don't get the right information. So,
wow, that's amazing. And, again, like my ears perk up. I'm like, ooh, I need to put the Christmas widow in your hands. I need to get some guidance from you and help this nonprofit that we're like talking about here today,
it's so many people are afraid. I just had a client yesterday, and it was so funny. They're like, oh my God, I've been in business for 9 years, and I have money comes in and money goes out, and I hope there's enough at the bottom. And I said, that's okay. You were doing the best you could with the tools you had at the time. And now, and that's in all aspects of life, you do the best you can. And at the same point, you get to make the choice that enough is enough. And now we can be able to make different choices to get different results.
Yes.
So
100%. So if I were talking to somebody and they're telling me about where they're at, and I'm like, oh my God, Dawn is the person that you need to speak with. What are they telling me about? You know, I like to always look at it from the perspective of if I'm just talking to a friend for coffee and I'm like, oh my God, this is the person you need to talk to. Like, who would that be?
somebody that is there. I'm tired. I'm getting pulled in 50 million directions. A lot of people call me the chaos coordinator.
Okay, that's cool. Chaos coordinator, like my brain wraps around that. Yeah.
Chaos coordinator. Because a lot of people just feel that, especially as a business owner, you know, and a female woman business owner, we have so many different labels. You know, I'm sitting here with my puppy right below me. He's the child. So, you know, I sit there and think, you know, moms and wives, and we have all these other roles. And at the same point, a business owner, we have to be that person. And sometimes we need just that individual that can help us look at it from a 90-degree angle. So not just the book side, it's the consulting side. That I had somebody that said, I feel like a hamster in my business. And so we've jokingly been saying that we've been taking people from hamster to CEO.
I love that.
So, you know, the person that created a job for themselves, especially in the pandemic, I've seen a lot of people that have, you know, taken a service and created a business, and they are not a business mindset individual. They're still that W-2 mindset. And
yes,
that's the individual I'm looking to connect with, to just get them looking and thinking differently. And whether they're working with me or somebody, we create a team around them so that they can be able to strive, whether it's their coach, their business coach, their financial, their CPA, you know, an attorney, whatever that case is, we can be able to be that advisor to help them and create the team and get them on their pathway so that they can, again, not just create a business to have a business or a job for themselves, but really be able to create something that can be a legacy, and could be either passed down or sold, or, you know, creates that movement. So
that's amazing. And you do bring up an excellent point that I don't think people quite realize. And it's going from, you know, when you've worked for someone your whole life, you've clocked in, you've clocked out, you've been given your tasks, you know, the deadline, you know what you've got to get done, and you've got the hours to do it. And so then they get this idea and they want to start their own business, but they have no clue how to lead themselves, or they're still, like you said, in that mindset. So they end up working more hours and making less money for sure. And I think that work that you offer is huge. Like, it's huge that people don't even realize they need until they're on the hamster wheel. Totally.
I love when people say that they're like, oh, I'll do it later. And later, our tagline for the company is doing it yourself keeps you broke. And, you know, later will come at the same point, to what cost? And so being able to look at that process and really just be able to set that timer, like you said, that mindset around an employee, you become an employee of the business. And some of us, and myself included, I was in that. And so I use a lot of my real life experiences and my clients that have been able to buy their houses, be able to save in money, you know, in taxes, or just all these different things, or make a bigger impact. So I really am happy and and excited to see what is coming in this next round of the company as we are scaling and growing, and now working with clients across the nation. So
that's huge. And, you know, it brings like one more point when everything shut down, because I have I come from leadership, corporate, you know, that world. And And I stayed in contact with some of the people that were on my team, even though I'm not there anymore. But when everything shut down and everybody was just told work from home, no one really thought to send information on how to stay disciplined to work from home. So it's kind of the same concept. It's like you can't take somebody that is not designed for that, you know, and just because somebody has a desire to start the business right now, they might not be designed for that. So again, like the work that you're doing is so needed and a huge impact. If people, do you offer like any kind of consultation call or for somebody to like say, hey, here's where my mind is this a good fit for me? Do you do that?
I do. I offer a 30-minute power session call. I'll send a link for you so that anybody that it can be on for the people, for anybody tuning in or watching in later, that 30-minute power zone call is just designed to see where they at, if they have a concept, they have an idea, you know, whether they've been in business for, you know, 1 week or 10 years. It really is that, where are you at and where do you want to go? That's one of our biggest pathways is we want to look at what your goals are. And because then we can work backwards to get you to those where most just look current year. So
yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for your work. Is there anything that you want to share? Because I know you know, it's like trying to figure out just the, you know, my mind attracted to the autoimmune and then it's attracting to this.
You're like, wait.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that I give you those minutes for you to share whatever hope and inspiration you want to give to someone.
One of the biggest things I can say is, as a business owner, you don't have to go at it alone. You can and should and get to make the choice to create a team around you. Whether it's, as a friend of mine calls it, the SOS, you know, call, like club of somebody, like I know in a dire need, if I need something, I can call a friend. Michael Faber, you know, all of half the people on the list of the calls today being a part of the Unleash You family. It really is the choice that, whether it's in health, whether it's in mindset, whether it's a traumatic event that happens, no matter what, you have a group of people around you. You just have to be able to reach out. And I'm here to say that there was for a long time that I'm good. And I would just keep bulldozing forward. And it wasn't until I finally took a step back and, like your previous, you just have to be. And I really think that as a business owner, as a entrepreneur in this fast-paced mindset of a world, sometimes we just have to be able to say, no, it's okay not to be okay. Yeah. And at the same time, we can make the choice to make it better.
Yes. I love that.
It really is. I was given the gift that I had an amazing medical staff around me, an amazing oncologist, my family support. Everybody's still in California. So when I relocated to Vegas 5.5 years ago, I knew 2 people.
Oh, wow.
And this, you know, I have an amazing support, and now even across the nation through the mastermind and that. So it really is true to, when you put yourself into situations and be open, it's okay, because I want everybody to know that they're not alone. Yes. As a business owner, they're not alone, that what you're going through, somebody else has gone through, and probably 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And they can make it out onto the other side, and we can all do that. So
love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Just
welcome.
I know I'm going to be like, hey, I need my consultation, you know, so I'm just, my mind is already going like a million places. So I do. I appreciate you coming on board, sharing with us, sharing your time and being part of our circle of
Yes.
hope.
I'm very excited, and again, what you're doing and the passion, I'm so excited to be involved as however I can. And at the same point, being able to share this at this time and all of your speakers today, I'm really excited to see the impact that you're going to be able to make this holiday season.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dawn.
All
Have a
right.
good evening.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.